All right. Welcome to the video, YouTube. People watching this on YouTube later. And thanks for joining us. I'm not a mimic. Okay. Video is started. I've got ammo. We're going into the final sequence of the game. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, I can't. That's the weird thing. I can't reload in the apartment for some reason. Enter the hole. There we go. Equip this. All right. Oh, geez. See that person twitching down in the lower left corner of the screen? That's creepy. This is genuine. I mentioned this last stream, but I'm going to bring it up again. Like, the atmosphere. We use the word atmosphere so often with Silent Hill, but, like, genuinely, the atmosphere of this area is so friggin' good. And, like, even a shot like this where you get to see the spiral of the staircase, it's all so cool. And so artful. I mentioned this to Cleo, but I was rereading some old interviews from the Silent Hill 4 era just to see if there's anything I wanted to make sure to bring up. And yeah, there's the twitchy little weird child thing. Okay. We get a little close-up of Henry. That's fine. But I was reading an interview with Akira Yamaoka where they were asking, do you think Silent Hill would ever move to like handheld gaming? Because that's all the rage right now. And Akira Yamaoka is like, I don't know. It feels like sort of like if like you can watch a movie in the movie theater or you can watch it on DVD at home. Why would you watch it at DVD at home when you can see it on the big screen? Like if it's very cinematic. So I don't know if Silent Hill would be suited for handheld stuff. And then literally the next game they made was Silent Hill Origins for the PSP. So interesting the way those things happen. This door and the lighting and everything haunts me in my dreams. Oh, and we've got these weird heads and cages. All of this is so fucking weird. And the blood trail leads here. 302, our apartment. The apartment that Walter Sullivan believed to be his mother. There's a diary on the ground. I had that weird dream today. The one with the man with the long hair and coat. He was crying and looking for his mother again. I saw that man with the coat 10 years ago at this apartment. He was going up the stairs, carrying a heavy tool, an old-looking bowl, and a bag that was dripping blood. I never saw him again after that. But a few days later, the neighbors complained that they heard strange noises coming from the supposedly empty room 302. So I took a look around room 302 and found signs that someone had been in there. But nothing odd other than that. But that's when it all started. I still hear strange noises coming from the window of room 302. Sunderland. We can presume Frank Sunderland, the superintendent of the apartment building. You put the superintendent's diary, man with the coat, into your scrapbook. Cleo says, I'm really curious about the post-OG games, but, like, I don't know that I have the fortitude. I think there's something valuable in each of the post-OG games, the post-Team Silent games, at least of the ones that I've played. The only one that I haven't played is Book of Memories, which, another handheld, and I have heard nothing good about that game, unfortunately. There are things I like about the soundtrack, which was done by Daniel Licht, actually. It was after Akira Yamaoka had either been taken off the series or had left the series for a short period of time. Yeah. Cleo says, Homecoming is the only one on Steam, I think. Oh, Shattered Memories I would play. Yeah, Homecoming is on Steam, and there are some really great parts of Homecoming, and then some other god-awful parts of Homecoming that just aggravate me. But you also need to, like, download a third-party patch to even play Homecoming at this point, even via the Steam version. Shattered Memories, God willing, I will stream it someday because I loved that game. Of the post Team Silent games before, like, this new era, Shattered Memories to me is like the gold standard in terms of storytelling. And it's our apartment, but it's different. It's all gray, covered with holy candles. There's an old picture book and a red book here. There once was a baby and a mother who were connected by a magical cord. But one day, the cord was cut, and the mother went to sleep. The baby was left all alone. But the baby made lots of friends at Wish House, and everyone was very nice to him. The baby was happy. His friends told him how to wake up his mother. So the baby went right away to go and wake her up. But the mother wouldn't wake up. No matter how he tried, she wouldn't wake up. Because the one that he was trying to wake up was actually the devil. The baby had been deceived. Poor baby. The baby cried and cried and cried. When he thought of the mother, he remembered the feeling of being connected to her through the magical cord. Just then, a ray of light came down from the sky. The light was very warm and made the baby feel good. When the baby looked into his hand, he saw that the magical cord was lying there. With the cord clutched in his hand, the baby went happily to sleep. Crimson Tome. She who is called the Holy Mother be not holy one whit. The descent of the Holy Mother is not but the descent of the devil. Those that be called the 21 Sacraments be not sacramental one whit. The 21 Sacraments be not but the 21 heresies. To give birth to a realm of wickedness within the blessed realm of our Lord be blasphemy and the work of the devil. If thou wouldst stop the descent of the devil, you must bury part of the conjurer's mother's flesh within the conjurer's true body. Thou must also pierce the conjurer's flesh with the 8 spears of void, darkness, gloom, despair, temptation, source, watchfulness, and chaos. Do so, and the conjurer's unholy flesh will become that which once it was, by the grace of our Lord. So both of these texts are kind of, in their own way, telling you how to defeat the final boss, which we will see very shortly. Cleo said, Galadriel voice, but in this the baby was deceived. Indeed. All right, what's over here? Eileen. Something dripping from the ceiling here. Can we go in here? Nope. And we've got our hole back to our apartment. Which is, this is like one of the weirdest, trippiest things about this game. Is where, like, you are in room 302 here, but if I go through that hole, it will take me back to the room 302 we are familiar with in the first person point of view. And you really start to get that, like, Lovecraftian, multi-dimensional, non-Euclidean space kind of thing going on, which it's very cool. I'm going to check out the stuff over here after going into the bedroom. Because in the bedroom, we have pages from the Red Diary and an old typewriter. It's a piece of red paper. What's with this room? It's covered in blood and rust. This is my room. But what the hell has happened to it? This room, is it really my room? It's in terrible shape. The air is so heavy. My head hurts. Creepy. It looks like a face. What the hell am I writing? It was a long time ago. August 2nd, Joseph. But all the stuff we just read, aside from the what the hell am I writing, those were the lines from the opening of the game when you wake up in the apartment and it's all weird. And I think it's tinged red and you have the guy who comes through the wall. But as you're examining stuff, all those lines we just read are the different lines it says as you're, like, clicking on X and examining things. It's a piece of red paper. I can't break down the wall. August 3rd, Joseph. Another thing, like, I find so striking about this, people talked about this with the Silent Hill 2 remake, and it's one of the criticisms that I can actually understand, where there are very few moments of just absolute silence in the Silent Hill 2 remake, whereas throughout the first 4 Silent Hill games, Akira Yamaoka with the sound design was very specific about where he had music, where he had sound design and, like, environmental noises, and where he wanted complete silence. I think in a lot of cases like this, it gives it gives this very intimate, kind of almost reverent vibe. Cleo said, yeah, I tried to argue that they used silence in the remake and the music interrupted me. And again, it's like they did such a great job with the environments in the remake, but I would be interested to see if with the Silent Hill 1 remake, Bloober Team decides to have more of those moments like this where there's literally no sound. It's a piece of red paper. When the bell rings, Eileen equals mother's body, blood. August 4th, Joseph. It's a piece of red paper. The Crimson Tome. Bury part of the conjurer's mother's flesh within the true body of the conjurer. Part of the flesh equals Super's room? And once again, this is pointing us in the direction of how to defeat the final boss. August 5th, Joseph. anything else in here? I wish I could take some of these holy candles. I mean, geez. All right. And here we go.
It's him.
You've done well to make it this far. Let me tell you something about him, Walter Sullivan. When he was a little boy, he began to believe that my apartment was actually his birth mother. He decided to free her from the stains and corruption of this world. At the orphanage, he learned of the 21 sacraments, the only way to purify her. He then performed the ceremony of the Holy Assumption and created this twisted world. Now, he's become nothing more than an inhuman killing machine. Well, he's dead now, but he's still trying to complete the 21 sacraments. His boyhood desire to return to the bosom of his birth has divided him. Now his child self has manifested itself in this world, and soon he's planning to finish his work, the 21 sacraments. Number 20, the Mother Reborn, Eileen Galvin. Number 21, the Receiver of Wisdom, Henry Townsend. Even now, it may not be too late. Follow the crimson tome. Stop it. If not, wherever you run, he will catch you. Find him. His true location. It must be nearby. You must kill him. You must kill him. Kill. 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 Hurry. She's being taken over. She's number 20. The mother was born. The crimson tome. Obey the crimson tome. Kill him. Must kill him. Kill. Kill. Kill.
Okay. So, before we get into the music, I just want to say a few things about that scene, like besides the music aspect of it. One, I love how fucking weird that scene is. I love, like, so there are certain things about it that are kind of goofy. I hate the line, well, he's dead now, especially delivered in that kind of weird, trying to be creepy monotone way, but it just comes off kind of goofy. But I love that it's just like, and now Joseph Schreiber is talking to us upside down from the ceiling. Like, playing that for the first time, I actually like found that very just like creepy. And I think it like that's one of those things where I think like a contemporary developer like Bloober Team, if they do get to the Silent Hill 4 remake, which they've said that they want to do Silent Hill 4. I understand why they Konami's having them do Silent Hill 1, and they're probably going to do 3 and then maybe get to 4. But I think they would do such a great job with a scene like that and give it the just creep factor that they were going for in this, and they kind of succeed at. But it's just like the limitations of the technology, the voice acting and writing at the time. Overall, I love the concept of it, and I love the setting and atmosphere and stuff. It's just those little details that kind of bring you out of it. I also like find it so interesting, like this whole game, you're getting these messages from Joseph Schreiber, and like this is his ultimate fate, is like being this weird, like the other ghosts, but instead of being aggressive and trying to destroy you, it's almost like he's trapped here. And that to me is very like, there again, conceptually there are things about this that I find very haunting and I really like. But let's get to the music. All right, let me hit pause and let me, for the first time in a while, I'm gonna bring the piano demos display up and hope it works. Yeah, it works again. It lives. So, as Cleo mentioned in chat, the piece of music that we heard during that cutscene is a song called Tender Sugar. Cleo said, okay, I was listening to Tender Sugar all this week and I didn't expect it to turn up this way. That's one of the things I think is coolest about this moment is Tender Sugar is the track that opens the official soundtrack for Silent Hill 4 The Room, but the version on the official soundtrack is a full rock song. Like, it's very much in the similar style to the rock songs on Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, where it's guitar, bass, drums. It's got Mary Elizabeth McGlynn on vocals, lyrics that I still haven't been able to figure out if the English lyrics were completely written by Joe Ramersa or if they were an adaptation of the Japanese lyrics written by, I think it was Hiroyuki Owaku. We'll see it in the credits later, so I'll be able to correct myself then, and in the editing of this Staying on Theme video when I eventually do that. Yeah, Tender Sugar is a really interesting song because it's not necessarily the one that, like, it's not one of the more famous ones to me. They've played it live when, like, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn has performed live with Akira Yamaoka. But I think the more famous songs from the series, and especially this game, are like Room of Angel, Your Rain, and then from Silent Hill 3, you've got You're Not Here, which was even used in the credits for the first Silent Hill movie. And I don't know if there are any, probably Hometown from Silent Hill 3, the credits music that Joe Ramersa sings over. But yeah, so Tender Sugar, it's a cool song, and I remember listening to the soundtrack after playing the game, and I was like, I don't remember hearing that in the game. And then going back and watching other playthroughs and hearing I remember watching this scene and thinking like, oh, the music in that scene is really cool. I hope it's on the soundtrack. The version of the song that we just heard is not on the official soundtrack, which is so frustrating because it sounds so cool. And I think there's some really interesting things that Akira Yamaoka does with it. in this scene. First of all, the scene starts off with kind of a lot of the like sampling and dissonance that we've come to expect from a lot of the tracks in this, where we don't really have a tonal center, we don't have a key per se, and that's for like the entire first half of Joseph's monologue. And then when he starts to talk about Walter Sullivan and accomplishing the 21 sacraments, that, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I have notes. Yeah, when he first brings up the 21 sacraments, the dissonance kind of fades away, and we get this synth tone in the background that's going. I believe this is it. And it's striking to me because for a couple different reasons. First of all, we're in, like, I was going to say we're in a particular key, and then that was one of the points that I wanted to make. With just that synth line at first, we don't have like a lower bass note to ground us. We just have these 4 notes, and it's another one of those suspended chords that at first listen you could kind of hear in 2 different ways. Like I was reviewing this scene a few times over the past few weeks, and there was a time where like I wasn't really thinking about it at all, and I heard this as setting us up like in A flat, and this being like an A flat sus2 chord, and starting with the 5th of the scale and dropping to the 5th below the tonic, which complicates things because when Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's vocals come in, A flat is not our tonal center. The vocal track is basically lifted directly from the rock version with just different production on it, different reverb and stuff to give it that more breathy, atmospheric quality, ethereal quality, so to speak. And once her vocals come in, it kind of solidifies what key we're actually in, which is E flat. And even then, we've still got this suspended chord. Instead of it being A sus2, we're doing E flat sus4. And it harkens back to other places in the game where I've talked about we start in a place of not atonality, but just like uncertainty about where our tonal center is. And specifically, what I was thinking about today is this almost harkens back to the very beginning of the game when when Henry first wakes up in the bed in his apartment, and it's got that opening text as like the ceiling fan is spinning. We have the track Melancholy Requiem, which starts off with this is it Melancholy Requiem? Yeah, I think it's Melancholy Requiem. That starts off with this riff that's going. It's that same sus4 chord suspended with the 4th of the scale degree of the chord. And it, like I talked back then, that before we get the other instruments that enter, you can, in that case, it is that sort of like 5th scale degree to 5th scale degree I was talking about before, where like, are we in E or are we in A? And it's an A sus2. It's also not closely related in musical terms, but closely related just in terms of mathematics, how we got E sus4 in Melancholy Requiem, E flat sus4 in Tender Sugar. I think the only reason Tender Sugar is in E flat is because Akira Yamaoka was like all of his songs or most of the rock songs for Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 4, he wrote on like he played on guitar tuned to E flat standard instead of regular E standard, and so everything is just a half step down. It was all the rage back in the 90s and the early 2000s. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to like drop really low to get like a heavy metal tuning, and I don't want to have to get a weird tuning to get like some of the different stuff I want, but I'm just going to tune my whole guitar down a half step to give it a little bit more of that lower end, a little bit more of that lower crunch, and also potentially make it a little easier on the vocalist so that they don't have to sing it quite as high in certain cases. So once Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's vocal comes in on this song, that's where we get, that's where we kind of get the tonal center solidified, where we start off with this, and then we get her vocal, which goes, that gives us that minor third that defines it as E flat minor. All of these are outlining the E flat minor scale and chords. Another thing I think that this synth part does it's literally just these 4 notes, and it might be more accurate to say it's like up in this octave, because it's so up in the air. And even when Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's vocal comes in, she's providing the bass notes for us in a certain way, but we still don't have like a clearly defined bass holding us down. Like typically you would expect it to be like, and then we have that note. But since we don't have that, it gives the feeling that I feel like that always gives me when I hear stuff where the arrangement is so in the treble area, in the like the upper register of whatever the instruments are, and it doesn't have that bass note holding it down. It has this feeling of being unmoored. Even if we know what key we're in, it's still like almost kind of flighty, or like it's like you're like just out of your grasp, like it's slipping through your fingers or something like that, because you don't have that. It's natural for our ears to just latch on to whatever note is the lowest and kind of process what key we're in, what chords we're hearing from that. And so when you don't have that, it can give this feeling of kind of being lost and ephemeral in certain ways. The other example I always think of when talking about this stuff, like this very upper register arrangement, is the moment in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, when Sam sinks below the water as he's trying to run and catch up to Frodo, who's out on the boat, about to leave and go to Mordor alone. And I'm going with you. When he starts to sink, falls underneath the water, you've got that light coming through the surface, and the strings are all in this upper register, where it doesn't have that bass note, and it feels so much more fragile because of that, and it like complements this moment of like potential loss where Sam is sinking and drowning, and then you get the bass note when Frodo's hand enters the water and grabs Sam and pulls him back up, and we are moored once again. We know where our total center is. We have our chords, and it has this powerful effect of like, oh, we thought we were lost and we're back now. We're back in a place of like emotional, still sadness, but stability, and like there's hope here. And significantly, we don't get that here in Tender Sugar. We do, once it shifts to like, I don't know if you would call it the B section or just the second half of the verse. So we start off with this over the first several lines of lyrics. And then in the rock song, it shifts to this chord progression that's like B flat minor to like a... I meant to figure this out better earlier. it's like a B flat minor, to like A flat. I think that's where it goes in the rock song. Yeah, back and forth between those two chords, which the next line is literally back and forth in the vocals. And that gives us a little bit more of like a progression in the song. The way that Akira Yamaoka translate this in this synthier atmospheric version, he goes from the E flat sus chord to this like and we do start to get some lower notes. Like I don't know if it's a string or just like a general like synth tone, but we get like a note that fades in on this F here. I think it's like. It's still not even giving us the root note of the chord. Like if these are meant to be B flat minor and A flat major, we're getting the fifth of those chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not even getting the root notes. If we were, it would sound like this. But what we're getting instead is. And so you probably notate that if you're doing like chord names as B flat minor over F. And then you could say this is A flat over E flat, like slash E flat. Even the notes, though, are almost like they're kind of trying to outline a D major, like add to a D flat major, add 2 chord, but because of the note they choose in the bass, it almost more solidly places us in that A flat major chord. So it becomes this like A flat major 6 over E flat. And again, it's this feeling of like, okay, we're trying to find stability, but he's not going to give it to us because this story hasn't been resolved. We're getting a lot of revelations right now, 3D, but we haven't reached the end of the story. We haven't reached a moment of emotional like resolution. And so we're getting a lot of lore. We're getting hints on how to defeat Walter Sullivan, but we haven't quite reached the conclusion. And then the synth completely drops out for the like actual pre-chorus, which in the rock song is like break it down, beat it down. I think Akira Yamaoka just felt like those chords weren't really fitting the scene and keeping that kind of like ethereal, ephemeral quality, and so he just dropped him and let the drum machine that entered kind of carry us forward and provide some support for the vocals, even though there isn't any other harmonic support from any other instruments. And then it goes to the chorus, the not again, not again, not again, which even that is very lightly arranged. I can't remember the exact notes, but by that point, it's like it is really more of just a backing track. You're not really paying attention to it as much as what Joseph is saying, which is kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, over and over and over again. Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up about this song? Yeah, not having a bass note makes it feel like you're floating, which again kind of lends itself to that scene from Lord of the Rings, although in that case, Sam is very specifically not floating. I think that's all I wanted to talk about musically with this song. One other thing that I wanted to talk about with the story. So I'll shift back to the game. Video game. Oh, I think it's finally starting to rain outside. All right. Cleo says, super great that Joseph sounds like a serial killer's inner monologue. Yeah, like that's the other thing that I find creepy about that, where it's like, this is a guy who has been, in some ways, like a source of hope, or, yeah, like you're saying, it lends this ambiguity where I think it's another example of how this game sets up things as places of safety and comfort, and then over time takes them away from you. Like the room itself, how it's your refuge from all the different worlds. Like you go out into the worlds, have to fight these monsters, then you come back to your room, you're able to heal, you're able to take a breather. But then later on in the game, if you take the shabby doll, then your room starts to get invaded. Similarly with Joseph, his notes are a real lifeline throughout much of the game of like, okay, I have no fucking clue what's going on, but at least Joseph does. And then over time you start to hear in the writing, he starts to talk about like, oh, I'm getting these headaches. What's going on? What's happening to me? I can't leave my room. And it's like, oh shit. And then we get this where it's like, oh, this is what happened to Joseph. And as Cleo's saying in chat, yeah, do you have to become one, a serial killer, to end one? What has Joseph become? What might Henry become? I think Joseph is, and all of the ghosts are really kind of possible endpoints for both Eileen and Henry. Oh, Cleo asked, isn't there an ending where it kind of looks like the murders might get pinned on Henry? I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I did rewatch all the endings a few weeks ago, but I don't remember that specifically. You might be right, though. Like it cuts to like a police scene or something like that. Wouldn't be surprising, and also wouldn't be the first or last time that sort of twist would happen in this series. But oh, that was the last thing that I wanted to bring up about the story. There's a line in there where Joseph Schreiber talks about how Walter's boyhood desire to like bring his mother back has divided him, and that to me, that like obviously that's speaking to the fact that like Walter, we've seen Walter as an adult and as a child, and that to me actually, I don't know why I hadn't thought about this before. I don't know if we talked about this specifically, and we've talked about the family theme running through all these games in previous episodes, but specifically that to me harkened to Alessa in the first game and how she becomes divided. There's Alessa, and then there's Cheryl. There's the younger version of Alessa that is running around town that you see every so often. And then there's also eventually Heather. And it's an interesting sort of recurring theme that occurs in this. And then, yeah, Cleo brings up there's Hinako after this. In Silent Hill F, Hinako becomes divided. I haven't played all of the endings, so I don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes. But even if you've only played the game once, there's the scene when Hinako returns to her family home and confronts herself, and you learn, oh, there's something much more deep going on psychologically with Hinako than we could have even realized. But I just realized as I was talking that we didn't talk about the lyrics to Tender Sugar at all. I think there's a little less, like, I'll bring them up briefly since we are here, and I did do it with Room of Angel. Let me grab those really quick. Sorry, we've already been here in like an hour. But let me do this. Can I do... How did I do this before? I did this. And I can't... No, don't do that. Control. Zoom in. And let me see if I can bring this up. Hold on. I gotta put this on pause again. This. And then if I go back to piano demos and I switch this to I don't have a calculator open. What are you talking about? What are you doing? Lyric window. Okay. Can I do that? Can I bring that forward? Move to top. Where is that in my OBS display? Because it's clearly grabbing it. Oh, okay. There it is. Hold on. Let me fix that. I definitely want it in front of... move up. Why isn't it moving? Come on. Lyric window. How did I get this to work before? Well, let me do this, and then I can bring it up. I think there's a little less to dig into with this song than with Room of Angel, for example. It's a little more generic in certain ways, but I think it's more trying to evoke the vibe of the game than tell any specific story from it, because it's mostly just talking about like it's I fall what or hold on, I run, I fall, what ripped away, check my body now, was it body or soul, the darkness fades to the light, disappearing now, disappears from the night. Like, these are all kind of very evocative phrases, but they don't tell us a whole lot. They aren't really like literally telling us anything narratively. And then all these nightmares I once had as a child. The morning always came. It came too late. This idea that like, oh, I had these nightmares, but the morning, and even though the morning came, it came too late for me to not have been affected by the nightmares, perhaps. What did my mind forget to hide? Could the nightmare be awake? I don't know. Again, kind of evoking this feeling in all the Silent Hill games of like, it feels like I'm living in a nightmare. Which like several characters throughout the series say some variation of that line. Oh, it feels like I'm in hell, or it feels like I'm in a nightmare. In or out, up or down, never know, it's an illusion. Round and round, on and on. Every day spins my confusion. Not again, not again, not again. This dream I can't awake. What is real, what is real, what is real? It's getting hard for me to take. What I need, what I need, what I need. A little something I rely, and the white sugar gently hides me. And that's where it's a little interesting. I remember I was trying to find this earlier today. There was some performance Mary Elizabeth McGlynn did, or some interview I watched with her, where she talked about how like she talked a little bit about the stories behind some of the songs. And for this one, I think she specifically said like, yeah, it's clearly about like a cocaine addict. I don't know if that was a conclusion that she came to, or that the lyricist was like, that's kind of the vibe we're going with, and it's like ties into the vibes of the game tangentially, Or it could be a reference to White Claudia, the drug that is prominent in Silent Hill 1 and in Silent Hill F. And I believe, I don't know if it states this anywhere specifically in the game, but I was reading today, I believe that like White Claudia was the flower that was used in a lot of the cult's rituals in Silent Hill and was turned into a drug called PTV. And supposedly Walter Sullivan became addicted to that drug. So this could be directly relating to his story as well. Maybe he got addicted to that drug. One of the things I like about the songs from the earlier Silent Hill games, though, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking about Room of Angel, is that the lyrics are a little bit more ambiguous. They don't have to be specifically related to the story of the game. I like that they kind of come at it from a different angle where it's like, oh, these lyrics could be just talking about like a cocaine addict having a bad trip or something. And that can feel like being in Silent Hill, which can be very trippy. Cleo says, yeah, I was like, girl, are you on coke? Walter being on drugs would explain a lot. Oh, the sweet sugar saves me. It's the room that confines me. And then we get the direct reference to the room. Now, the lyrics here say confines me for the second line. I've always kind of, you don't hear that S on the repeat. And I've always wondered if it's like, is it actually like, it's the room that confines me, confined me, like come find me in the room. And then we get yesterday, back and forth, broken door no longer opens. So these lyrics do kind of feel like, okay, they're directly relating more to the narrative of the game. Breaking down, need it now, mother's sugar always loves me. And then the repeat of the chorus. One last little tidbit I'll give, and I swear we will get back to gameplay after this. Oh, the sweet sugar saves me. It's the room that confines me. I think I might have mentioned on stream before. I might not have. I can't remember. I a while ago had an idea for how you could possibly do a jukebox musical of Silent Hill 2 using songs from all the games. And I had actually had the idea of opening the musical with Tender Sugar almost as like a prologue. And it's like James and Mary at home. Mary's had some illness going on, but they haven't figured out yet that it's terminal. And so she's waking up in the middle of the night and like trying to get to the bathroom to get her medication because she's like suffering from some like attack or something. And the whole first song is her just like suffering from whatever is going on with her illness and trying to get some medication to to help her, and then end with like James waking up as she collapses or something. And then we get opening song, theme of Laura as your like overture, and then start where Silent Hill 2 actually starts with the letter and everything, which then you could do like Waiting for You, because that's literally like Waiting for You is on the Silent Hill 4 soundtrack. It doesn't show up in the game at all, even over the credits, and it is the song that is most clearly related to Silent Hill 2. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it would be a fun thing to bring up. Okay, so now let's bring the game back up and let's do this. Do we have the game yet? Come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so there are a couple songs that feel like they're written as if they're meant to be from the perspective of a drug addict in the Silent Hill canon. Like, I think one of the other obvious ones is I Want Love from the Silent Hill 3 soundtrack, which is like clearly about someone longing for like their love, but they're using a lot of metaphors that sound very the drug related. One drop of love from him and my heart's in ecstasy. Doctor, tell me what I need. All that sort of thing, which again is not an uncommon theme in a lot of songs about unrequited love. And with all that done, we are actually getting back into the game. And yeah, even you're not here, Cleo's saying, I'm strung out, addicted to you. My supply fell through. And so this wasn't here before when I came over here. We got the pickaxe of despair before. So what do we get now? The pickaxe of hope. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a sort of stuff where I'm just like, I love this game. Hope is written on the handle. It doesn't look like I can use it as a weapon. Fair. That feels like it would be a kind of mixed message. I don't know. I don't generally associate hope with like violence. What do we have here on the wall? The gate to hell. Why must I destroy this wall? We can't destroy it here, though. We can't check out anything at the door, right? Oh. Oh, yeah, that goes back to this. Which I was reading in the walkthrough, you can actually go all the way back up to the hospital world, and there will be silver bullets in Eileen's hospital room. But that would mean going back through every single world that we've gone through, and yeah, who has the time? So instead, we're going to push on forward. The walkthrough is literally like, it's not worth it. I don't even think I found any silver bullets on this playthrough. I was remiss in that. Do we have a haunting? Doesn't seem like it. How are things doing outside? Oh, there's the Robbie the Rabbit hot air balloon. All right. So, we have the pickaxe. And it was... Oh, no. Oh, we do have a haunting. Also, something fell over? Oh, no. Yeah, this one's not great. And of course, it's right over the toolbox, which is where my holy candles are. They're like evil dolls or something. I thought they were like when I first played this game, I think I thought they were babies, but they look like they look like maybe they're the shabby doll itself, like manifesting on the wall. And I hate that noise. It is not good at all. So I'm going to get my holy candle and stop this once and for all. Or stop this at once. Not necessarily for all. Oh, no, dang it. There we go. Man, there's something about the axes of these joysticks in the apartment specifically where I keep going in directions I never wanted to. Fuck you, Robbie. We heard something like collapse earlier. Was that out here or... No. Was it in here? Oh, jeez. Dryer sprayed blood all over the place. Honey, the dryer sprayed blood all over the place again. Jeez. Okay. There's a thing that I'm going to bring up really quick before I forget. Okay. All right. Cleo says, they're in my house. For the context for that joke, follow Cleo. um, yeah. Why was Joseph trying to get through this wall? This wall that we've passed so many times throughout this game. There's an alcove back here. And again, I know this is a Silent Hill game. I know if you've gotten this far, you are probably aware that we are playing a horror game and there's going to be disturbing imagery. It's the first thing they say when you boot up any Silent Hill game is some parts of this game may contain violent or disturbing imagery. This is one of those moments, so I'm just giving you a heads up. And I think that's all the preface I'm going to give.
Oh, Jesus.
So this, to me, is one of the most disturbing moments in any of the Silent Hill games. And while we have some underscoring in that cinematic, it is now dead silent, which feels very appropriate to me. First of all, I want to talk about the blocking of that scene. Like, for all of the kind of rough around the edges scenes and blocking and lines in this and vocal acting in this game, I think that short cinematic is incredibly well done. Like the fact that it starts with Henry entering and the first thing that he notices is the smell. And then as he's moving forward, he knocks the bottle off the shelf and you get the cap just trailing forward as a way for the camera to kind of lead you towards the discovery we're about to make. And then we get a glimpse of the body of Walter Sullivan. Cut back to Henry as he recognizes what he's seeing, and then a full, like, long shot of it. And the different tools and utensils around here, the blood or something in the fridge. This very much reminds me of the murder tableaus on Hannibal, which came many years after this. Excuse me. And the fact that they do that short cinematic and then just leave it up to you to to examine this scene. Like, this is literally a crime scene. And I think that's part of what makes it so unsettling to me is, like, for all of this supernatural stuff that happens in these games, and in this game in particular, all the multiple dimensions or worlds or whatever, this has its foot in reality. Like, if we're considering the storyline of the game to be like, okay, there's like stuff that is real there, and then there's the supernatural stuff that could only happen with Silent Hill. This is something that could happen in real life. I don't know if it would go unnoticed, especially if it smelled that bad when he entered, but this is meant to be the body of a human being who it's almost, he hasn't quite crucified himself because his arms aren't splayed out, but it definitely looks like he's on a cross of some sort. We've got feathers along it. There's all these tubes going in and out of him. I don't know exactly all the details going on here. What's this in the refrigerator? Bags of blood and things like that. Let's see what else we can examine in the room before we look at the body itself. It's a bowl made from obsidian. And here's where I'll bring up something that I didn't know until very recently. I've got a bowl made of obsidian. What the hell was Walter doing in here? We assume that's a saw that he used on the bodies of people that he killed. Some kind of strange black fluid in the depression. And then we've got the 11 out of 21 written on his feet. So the obsidian goblet, we've got the obsidian goblet. We've got a bottle that looks like it might be a bottle of white chrism. And then we've got the crimson tome. Or this must be the cult's Bible. And what's the fourth thing? This is why I was bringing up thing. Okay. So yeah, the cult's Bible, which is possibly called Crimson Ceremony, and then there's the Book of Lost Memories. I don't know if we see that in here specifically, but basically what the details that we have here, we have at least 3 out of the 4 items that James needs for the rebirth ending in Silent Hill 2. To get the rebirth ending in Silent Hill 2, you have to get the Book of the Crimson Ceremony, the Crimson Tome, possibly, the Obsidian Goblet, the White Chrism, and then the Book of Lost Memories. Again, I'm not seeing the Book of Lost Memories around here, but the other 3 being here seems to be suggesting that Walter was doing some sort of ritual very similar to the one that James attempts in the rebirth ending of Silent Hill 2, this ritual to bring someone back. And for him, it brought him back as the adult Walter that we've seen walking around trying to shoot us, but also might have been the reason why he was split into 2, into his childhood self and the adult version of himself. And again, the details here, like I feel like the reason that the hair is so long is that, which I feel like that has been debunked, the idea that like your fingernails and hair continue to grow after you've died. Either way, it's still a very creepy image. And yeah, just the fact that, and again, utterly silent. Yeah, debunked. But this to me is again, when it comes to like what you're afraid of or what disturbs you, it's going to be different for everyone. But this to me will always be one of the most disturbing moments in any of the games, because like, forget about all the supernatural stuff. This still could potentially, this is enough in the realm of reality, finding something like this and it actually, like, you could actually find this in the real world. There's nothing supernatural. Like, he's doing a ritual and stuff, but like there are cults in the real world, and there's nothing here to suggest that like anything we're seeing is supernatural. Is just the dead body of a very disturbed man. Cleo says, oh, with the whole myth about fingernails and hair, your cuticles shrink back, making your nails look longer, making the villagers think you're a vampire, grabbing the pitchforks, etc. Yes. Okay. Now let's examine the body. Walter? His body, it's tangled up in some kind of pipe. Should I investigate? Yes. There's something in his coat. Should I look in his coat pocket? You got the keys of liberation. Extremely evil-looking keys held by the corpse of Walter. Again, like, maybe it's something that got lost in translation, but calling them evil-looking is just... Like, the moment is so solemn and profound, and then you say evil-looking keys. Extremely evil-looking keys. Is this the real Walter Sullivan? It smells terrible. I guess he's been here from way before I moved in. Yeah, and in that note from Frank Sunderland that we read earlier before re-entering room 302, he even said like he saw the adult Walter carrying a bowl up to this room, which we assume must mean the obsidian goblet. Anything else to... Okay. And yeah, I assume the blood in the fridge has to do with the ritual. Like, I know that with the first 10 victims, he removed the hearts of each of them. So maybe it's related to that. Looks like a bunch of different medicines. But yeah, again, I hate to use phrases like this because it feels like I'm making a pun or being glib, but like the nail in the coffin for me when it comes to how unsettling this is the fact that he's been there the whole time. Not to steal a Sam Reich quote, but it's like this entire game, you've woken up in your bedroom and just on the other side of the wall, there has been the dead body of this serial killer just sitting there the whole time. Just on the other side of where your desk is. Every time you walked across this hallway into the bathroom, every time you walked out into the main room. All right. Let's save it since we're here. It's almost 8:30. Jeez. I still got 2 more pieces of music to talk about, a whole world to go through, and a boss to beat. This is what I've been building up to this whole playthrough, though. Like, this. Oh, jeez. Can I do this here? Oh, fuck! It's the bleeding from the eye hole. Hold on. Can I look into the eye hole? Oh shit! Okay, that's fucked up. Let's get a holy candle, please. I was wondering if we were going to see any more stuff outside the peephole, and apparently we would. Let's see, a bloody version of Henry, of us. Oh, this. Yeah, that breaks. And I'm going to grab another one of these medallions just to have one. Well, I think I'm going to need a lot of inventory space in the next section, so actually I'm going to leave it. Okay. Now that that's been dealt with, the keys of liberation, the keys of Liberace, the keys of... Okay. No, dang it. You used the keys of liberation. And the chains are finally broken. As we leave room 302. We see...
No way. Not here, too. Eileen?
Walter's otherworld has spread to... I don't even know...
This is our apartment building, but now it looks like some kind of nightmare.
Once again, nightmare. Like, I don't know, like, this was the real world, I guess, because it was where our... or the real world, it was not the other world. And now it's being infiltrated. Cleo says, I think at that point I just go back into the bedroom and close the door. Homer back into the hedge. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how quickly we can do this next section. I'm gonna switch over to the gun. There's our map. Yeah. Hold on. I have a theory as to who's crying that is that we're hearing right now. Because we're about to learn a little bit more about Walter's father, who all we know about him at this point is that after his mother gave birth, his parents fled room 302 and left baby Walter there. Might as well throw that on since I've got it. Oh! And here's a new version of the twin monster that is wholly disgusting. Okay. Useful. It's so grody. Like, Walter's Otherworld is just nasty. And we've got weird creatures. Oh, shit. Oh, he's right there. Fuck. I was gonna look at the weird things hanging from the ceiling and talk about them, but Walter is literally on the other side of that those bars, shooting at us repeatedly. Okay, so we're back in the artist's apartment. Is there anything useful for us here? Definitely, if you see a very obvious item that I'm missing, definitely call it out, because yeah, I think we're good, but okay. So I think this section is a little more straightforward as to where to go. This starts to evoke a lot more of a Woodside and Blue Creek Apartments in Silent Hill 2, particularly the remake with like the cracks in the wall you can climb through. Okay. Also got to keep an eye out for ghosts. Right now. There's one. Oh, it's Cynthia. Any items useful here? No? Okay, let's get out of here. Eileen, tell me that you... Okay, you are with me. Oh, and now all those things that were hanging from the ceiling are on the ground. Okay. Walter could be anywhere, which is fine. It's not fine. Oh, he's right there. Don't think there's anything else useful in this place, so I might just go and not give him the chance to shoot me. Okay, still on the second floor. Oh, the nurses. You know what? The burping nurses. Oh, man. And it looks like there's something coming out of their... Oh. No. Stomp on the other one. Dang it. There we go. At least I got that one. Oh, and there are more crap. Eileen, come back here. Somehow I'm hitting them both at once. I don't care. That doesn't make sense physics-wise. It's fine. Okay. Oh, you. They're really not good at this whole hurting me thing, and I'm fine with that. Okay, are all of you gone? Okay, that's up the stairs. Let's go this way first. I gotta be really careful with Eileen right now, because she's past the first stage of damage. I think there are 3, and I was not as attentive as I could have been before. I really hope Walter isn't just out of camera. 'Cause they pulled that bullshit before, and I know they do it again at some point in here. Okay, health drink, that's useful.
Can't get out of here?
I know, Eileen. Well, I'm trying. I'm trying to find a way. Can't read that. Do I want to go... Okay, there's more stuff to explore here, but I know there's also like a staircase. Is this where the staircase is? So do I want to go up first? I think I'm going to go up first. This is where we first met adult Walter on the stairs with the doll. Take the pistol bullets, don't mind if I do. Oh! Wall monster. Oh, you. See, for how tedious going through the other worlds were, I think this section is actually really effective. Because they've changed up the layout kind of the way they do in like the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I'm sure they do in other Silent Hill games, where it's like, okay, we're retreading the same area, but different places are inaccessible to us now, other places are accessible, and it just gives it a little bit more variation. There's also a lot more tension here with the new creatures, and also Walter. Just the placement of Walter specifically is very tactical when it comes to like generating fear and tension, and the music also is really lending to that. This is Eileen's room. This is Eileen's blood. That's disturbing and fucked up. Oh shit. No, come on. No. Don't keep looking at Eileen's blood. Stomp this thing out before it gets back up. Okay. Okay. Eileen, I'm sorry, but... take the revolver bullets. I'm gonna use one of these health drinks to make some room. Oh, I'll do multiple. So yeah. This has got to be traumatizing for Eileen. No one's coming out of this okay, even if they survive. Okay, now we can go down. 31 into 304, okay. Down. hanging things. What even is jiggling around in that cage? They're almost like the pyramid head cages from Silent Hill 2. Or the flesh loop. He is. I knew this was going to be the one that he's in. Okay. Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Eileen, run. Oh, I went into the wrong room. Get out of the way! You motherfucker. Fight me in the bedroom. Okay. Okay, is there anything useful in here? No, this is just our next... Now we're back in Richard's apartment. We're also, like, that's another thing. We're retreading all of these murder scenes. At least in Eileen's case, it was.
That's so right.
I feel so sorry for him too, Eileen, but we got more important things to worry about. If we run into him again, I don't need the putter. Yes, take the pistol bullets. We'll do what we can for the little boy, but he's tied to Walter, so I don't know how much we can do. Alright, and there are those weird hanging, I assume corpses wrapped up and tied up. Wrapped in plastic. Oh, you! I think that's a verbal thing that I've picked up from you, Cleo. Oh, it's you. Thanks, Aphex. And so we have stumbled upon another very creepy but weirdly poignant moment of child Walter calling out for his father. And another one of my favorite pieces of music from this game. I remember playing this for the first time, and we've talked so much about how, like, even when the music isn't dissonant or atonal, it's still very melancholy. For most of the series, most of the music is in a minor key and creepy and evokes either sadness or fear or some dark emotion like that. And I think this piece of music is unsettling, but in a very different way, and also weirdly comforting. I mean, it is called Resting Comfortably, so there's that aspect to it, but it is this kind of like, there's something warm and comforting about it, but it's also unsettling. It is one of the only pieces in the entire series I can think of that, based on what we're hearing, this is in a major key, but the sounds have this weird quality to them. Like, you've got this kind of major chord playing over the synth noise, but the synth noise, the notes it's hitting are like, seem to outline and place it in this major key, but they have that haunting weirdness to them. So let's pause again and talk more about that. How do I bring the video game back up in the square here? Game capture. Game capture. Then I do this. Crap. Hold on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Game capture. Let's bring this back. Does that do it? Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's the opposite of what I wanted. Up. Crap. Forgive me. Technical difficulties. Okay. Got that. Why is it still not? There we go. Okay, that did it for some reason. And we got the piano. Okay. Let's talk about resting comfortably. So this is another piece that is primarily based on a sample. My sources are telling me that the sample used in this piece of music is from Lost Horizon by Spectrasonics Virtual Instruments, Distorted Reality. And I remember watching that video that I showed in like one of the first videos from this playthrough, I think. Let me grab that really quick. A video by a YouTuber named Diego Reynoso, where he goes through a bunch of different samples used in the different Silent Hill games. Not that one. And shows how they are used, like with a MIDI keyboard in front of them. And because I don't want to mess around with the visuals and stuff again, I'm just gonna maybe I can. Yeah, you know what? I am going to do this. Okay, hold on. Okay. Where's my OBS? Okay. Let's do this again. This. There we go. Okay. Let's do that. Send it back behind the overlay above the game capture. Okay. So, hold on. Where's that show? Oh, wait, no, that's not doing anything. But I can do this. Okay. So this is the same sample video that I brought up, I think, at the beginning of this one, because I was using it in reference to, it wasn't The Last Mariachi. It might have been one of these other tracks. Or maybe I brought it up in the, Into the Depths of Self-Discovery, or one of the other ones. But watching this video, it's very simple. Oh no, you're seeing all of my suggested videos. I watch a lot of Smosh. And Dropout. This video always kind of blows my mind because it shows you how, like, using samples can be, there is an art to it, and the different things you can get out of samples is wild. So specifically, like, there's the butterfly room from Silent Hill 2, which starts out like this noise, and then you drop it a few octaves, and you get this weird industrial sounding stuff. For resting comfortably, if these time marks are right, which... Here's how that sample sounds up in a higher register. And then you drop it low. hear all the different notes, and it gives the synth this weird, almost like groaning quality to it. And it's so interesting. So there's that. And since there isn't a whole ton more to this piece of music, like there's that that sample, and then you've got this. It sounds like an electric piano, kind of doing like a no. Just creating this B flat major 7 chord over it to add to this. It's almost like a lullaby that he's trying to evoke here, which again is fitting because we're starting to dig it. We've gone through like adult Walter back into childhood Walter, and now we're going like back to his birth. Walter's asking about his father, and we're going to find out a little bit more about his father. And to go back to what I was saying before, I think that crying that we hear when we first, like in that first apartment we enter, when we're back in the apartment world, that to me sounds like it might be supposed to be his mother weeping about the situation that they're in, having to leave this child behind, maybe. Or that could be for a variety of reasons. But we get this piece of music right now, and it's so striking to me. First of all, like the sample itself, the notes that we're getting it from it, again, seem to solidify that we're in a major key. Like if we're in B flat major, we're hearing something like that. And then the higher register, like we just heard from Diego Reynoso's video, it feels like it's got these overtones that are either lost or get just subsumed into these lower notes when you drop it down these octaves. And it's cool to me that there are so many different sounds that Akira Yamaoka got out of these different samples just by lowering the sample pitch. And what that does so often with samples is that unless you are playing with a sample that was like specific, each pitch was specifically recorded, then it has to slow down the sample to create those lower notes. I dig quite a bit more into this in my video on Blank Fairy from Silent Hill 2. So if you want to see more of how that works, definitely check out that Staying on Theme video on my channel. But yeah, I think it is meant to be this like haunting, kind of creepy lullaby, like someone humming their child to sleep, or like saying nonsense, or like and you get this B flat major 7 chord over it to solidify this like almost relaxing feel. And it's so striking because there's so much unsettling stuff going on. I was just talking about how there's so much tension in this section with Walter lurking about and the music that was in the background up until this point. And then Akira Yamaoka hits us with this. Even while the world is looking disgusting and grody and weird and there are creatures about, he hits us with this piece of music that is both beautiful and unsettling. And it's so effective. Like, I remember there are a few times he does this in the series where you've got all this creepy stuff going on, and then he hits you with this piece of music that is weirdly and beautifully consonant. Another place I think of is actually in Silent Hill Origins. The sanitarium sequence in that game is, at least for me, it was very long and very tedious, and also very unsettling because of the music in the background. Which was like still haunts me in my dreams sometimes. That would, and there's so much you have to do. It's such a big area, and there's so much going on. And I was getting frustrated with it at certain points, and just like it had that kind of like just dour feel throughout it. And then towards the end of that section, you like hit this final moment of emotional catharsis where Travis learns something the main character of Silent Hill Origins learns something very important about his own mother. And the music that plays after you discover that is some of the most beautiful, like, consonant music in the game. It's actually like it's the guitar part from Shot Down in Flames, but just like the section between the verses and that replays at the end of the song, and it just uses that section and loops it after you learn this bit of personal history for Travis. And I love when Akira Yamaoka does that, where, like, I've talked about it so much with his music, where he knows how to get really creepy and dark and disturbing, and he'll use industrial sounds and samples to create these horrific environments. And he talks in interviews about how he does that and how he's really trying to keep the player on their toes by hitting them with stuff they won't expect. And he does that with this sort of music too. When the moment calls for it, he will play something that evokes an emotion that isn't just fear or tension. It oftentimes is something that feels very human. And in this case, I think there is meant to be this kind of disturbing, unsettling quality to it still, but it's so weird that in the midst of all the dark stuff happening, you get this piece of music that sounds like it's major key and almost not uplifting, but comforting. Again, the title of the piece is Resting Comfortably, which I was trying, that was another thing I was going to look up. I can't remember if this is just something I made up in my own head or not, but like resting comfortably is a phrase that we use for like people in the hospital. And it might even be something that you could say about like someone who's passed away. Oh, they're resting comfortably now. And so there is this kind of like duality to it where it's like, it's comforting, but also unsettling and disturbing. And that stuff, that dichotomy is so present in so many of the Silent Hill games and so much of Akira Yamaoka's music, and it's part of why I always go back to it and what elevates it beyond a lot of other compositions for me, especially when it comes to music for horror movies and horror video games, where it's that whole thing of like they talked about with Silent Hill F, finding the beauty in the horrific and the horror in the beauty. Something that was very prevalent in the Hannibal TV series, the murder tableaus being both disturbing and beautiful, and something that is such a part of the DNA of the Silent Hill series. When I played this game for the first time and this piece of music started playing, I didn't know how long it was going to last. So I hit this staircase, that music started playing, and I think I literally just sat there for a good few minutes because I was like, holy shit. It hit me in a way where it wasn't even that like I was crying or something. It was just like, it's so evocative, and it struck me. There's an idea that I learned back in college that can feel very pretentious when you talk about it, but it's this idea of the sublime in like this philosophical or literary sense of like, oh, you are so struck by something that you like you'll never be the same way afterward. And it's used in art and it's used in life. And for me, this is one of those moments where it's like the key to the sublime, I think, is that you're not expecting it. And so that was this moment for me. It's like, how strange, how unexpected to be hearing this like weirdly beautiful music as all this dark stuff is happening. And we'll continue to hear it as we get back into the game. Yeah. Afix in chat says, excuse me, liminal space music. Yeah, it's, I mean, like before liminal became such a popular buzzword on the internet with the backrooms and stuff, Silent Hill was doing this stuff. Oh man. And then Child Walter's voice in the background. Where are you, Walter? Where are you? Oh, there's a health potion. Child Walt. I was just gonna say that, Cleo. Like, the voice acting for Child Walter is it's so. It's both like. Child Walter, like you said, Cleo, Child Walter just kills me. Do you mean that, like, for me, it's so cutting? I think that's what you meant, but then I second guessed myself and I was like, oh wait, does she mean it's kind of goofy? Like it kills me, but... Oh, is that a holy candle on the wall? I can't hold anymore, but I can do this. Also, I need to get rid of something to pick up more stuff. Afix says, I'm obsessed with liminal space stuff. Music like this would go great with a book I just read called Piranesi. A liminal space dream right there. Paired with this tune, chef's kiss. Yeah. That's what I thought you meant, Cleo. Cleo said, no, I mean the I want to be his new mom sense. Yeah, it's so, like, Child Walter, like, and again, that's what they're going for with this game. It's like, Walter Sullivan as an adult is an awful human being, but he was a child just like anyone else. He was a human being, and it is, I do think, like with so many of the Silent Hill games, especially the original 4, it's making the audience question what they believe about the characters in the game, but also about just people in life. Like, is it important for us to think about serial killers in a context where, like, they are still human beings, and what does it mean for us to think about them as complex human beings? And it doesn't condone what they've done, but what can we learn from that? Oh yeah, definitely, Cleo. Like Cleo said, I feel like OG Laura and Child Walter must have been actual child VAs. They both sound like kids. Yeah, like I can't remember if I don't think they have any footage of the original Laura, but I remember actually listening to an interview with Guy Seehey, the voice actor for the original James Sunderland. He talked about the way that he got the James Sunderland job was so kind of wild, because he was there because he was bringing his daughter to audition for Laura. And then since he was there, they were like, hey, do you want to audition for James? And he did. And his daughter didn't get the part for Laura, but he got the part for James. But yeah, I think with Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 4 specifically, it feels like they really wanted to make sure they had an actual child voice actor for the child characters. Where am I might go back up to 302 to drop off. No, it's so far up. If we run into another ghost, then I'll get to I can wait for the medallion to get destroyed, but okay. Explored everything here. So there's a superintendent's room, but there are 6 chains in the way. I can't open the door. sketchbook. Walter's father? It honestly looks pretty similar to Alessa's drawing of her father, or Heather's drawing of her father from previous games. I can't remember which one it is, but or Cheryl. Oh man, Alessa slash Cheryl slash Heather has talk about identity crisis. All right, you chill here, Eileen, and I'll come back and talk to you later. Okay. You got wall creatures. Go up. Can't hold anymore. I wish I could drop items. I don't want to use that holy candle. Okay. Honestly, I probably don't need all of the health.
I told you we shouldn't have a baby, didn't I?
And now we get the voice of Walter's father, his biological father, and some tidbits from him when his wife, girlfriend, we don't really know, Walter's mother became pregnant. This, as I was rewatching it today, started to remind me of the Angela section of the Labyrinth when you're facing off with the Abstract Daddy in the remake. I think they did something similar where with like hearing Angela's father and scraps on the TVs in that section, they might have gotten that idea from here, where you go up to these weird corpses hanging from the walls and hear bits of dialogue from Walter's father. Again, the parallelism between those two characters is interesting to me, whether it was intentional or not.
Oh, shut the hell up. You can't blame it all on me.
Are they corpses or are they Walter in a straitjacket? Oh. Let me stop the other guy up and then I'll... Oh, crap. Oh, they leap now. Oh, I've got some space in my inventory. Yeah, that looks like a straitjacket, actually. And that looks like Walter's hair.
Anyway, let's get out of here. I can't stand it anymore.
That's another thing that's so striking to me about this section is unexpected. Like, I didn't think we were going to hear about anything from Walter's father when we got to the section of the game, and suddenly they see fit to include him. And it's so brief, and that feels fitting to me too. Like, it's like he was such a brief part of Walter's life. We're going to get this bit about him just enough to find out that he was a shithead. gosh, the fucking controls. Alright. We may end up pushing past 10 o'clock, but I'm finishing this game tonight. If it means pushing to 11, that's fine by me. Okay, we have a ghost. To destroy our medallion. What was that? It's a dead cat wrapped in a pair of jeans. Oh yeah, this is the cat lady's apartment. Pour one out for the cat army.
If that super hears him, we're in trouble. There's something about that guy. I just don't like the look of him.
I mean, Frank doesn't seem terrible, but he did keep the child's umbilical cord, which is fucking weird. Break the medallion. Or not. Oh, did it actually, like, incapacitate him? That's weird. I've never seen that happen before. Okay. I don't feel like wasting more bullets.
Little crybaby.
Cleo says, I read the umbilical cord as something that compelled Frank to keep it so that a part of Walter would stay in the building. That is total spitballing on my part, though. Oh, so, like, there was something about the umbilical cord itself that, like, had some supernatural element to it? So that in the future it would force Walter to come back or something? Maybe. Because I don't know if Walter, like, was affiliated with anything in Silent Hill until he was taken to the Wish House orphanage.
Hurry up. Get that.
Can't hold anymore. Okay. That's fine. I've got plenty of bullets, and this whole section is basically just getting resources for the last boss battle. Cleo says Frank seems kind of not himself in some way whenever it comes up, is where I get that idea from. Yeah, that makes sense. He does kind of get this almost like far off look in his eye, like, yeah, like that umbilical cord in my room. It's like, Frank? And even he's like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Yeah, maybe there is something inherent to room 302 even. All right. Let's go back and see what's going on with Eileen. There were some health items I missed because my inventory was full, but I think I'm going to be okay. I am on easy after all.
Eileen?
Another piece of music that's not on the official soundtrack.
It's terrible. That poor little boy.
Random shot of weird BDSM creature.
His parents just threw him away right after he was born. Poor thing. He really thinks that room 302 is his mother. I've gotta help him.
Oh, and there he is again. And so there are a few variations of that scene depending on how hurt Eileen is. If she was more hurt and more possessed, I can't remember exactly what she says, but it's much creepier. And it's less like, oh, that poor boy, and more like, I need to help Walter. Okay, where do I go now? Oh, wait, I got all of the dad quotes, I think, so the superintendent's room should be open now. Yep. All of the chains are gone. Even a little detail like that, I can't see her face. It's like, well, of course you can't. If we're going through Walter's memories, he doesn't remember what his father looks like because his father wasn't there. I don't need another health potion. I am going to need to make room for the umbilical cord, though. Yeah, I guess it's not going to let me just pick it up, right? Yeah.
Ah! Ah!
Henry? Are you okay? It's Walter. He's crying. Even finishing the 21 sacraments? It won't help that boy. I'm going back, Henry. To the room where he is. We're the only ones. The only ones that can stop him.
Walter Sullivan's umbilical cord. The superintendent has kept it for years. Okay. We have a part of the conjurer's mother's flesh. time to face off with the Conjurer himself. This woman, is this Eileen? I hope not. Now, we gotta get back up to room 302. See, it's seen stuff like this where I'm like, Bloober Team really did a good job carrying the aesthetic from the original games forward. Like, there's so much stuff like this in Silent Hill 2, specifically like in the apartments and in Brookhaven. They've got like these barred off areas with weird things behind them. I think one of my favorites is still in Blue Creek. There's that barred off area where as you progress through the area and solve more of the clock puzzle, the like weird like mannequins or whatever behind it get closer and closer to the bars. Is that an eyeball sticking out of the peephole? It's moments like this where I'm just like the dude at the end of Chinatown. Face it, Silent Hill. Oh shit. No, I'm not dealing with you because I don't have to. I'm going back to room 302 alone, and you can't come with. Oh my gosh. Okay, run. We're just running, and we're running, and we're not going to deal with these guys. Oh my gosh. Get to the door. Get to the door. How do we get over there? Where are we going again? Yes. We go through 203. There's going to be another broken wall. Yep. Back into the painter's apartment. And there's a staircase in this apartment for some reason. I'm going to hear the crying woman, whom I believe to be Walter's mother. It almost sounds like labor pains, like or like breathing during, oh man, heart palpitation type, not heart palpitations, but oh, no, we're not doing that. Oh, we got a little Walter. Walter! Oh, crap. And the sink will ooze red blood. Well, where can I put it? There we go. Nothing. Our final save. We might actually finish the game before 10 o'clock. We're at the final boss. One more look out the window. Don't need that. We do need that. Don't need that. Let's grab Richard's revolver and the ammo for it. So that's going to do more damage. And probably want that. I think I need a free space to grab the spears, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. Do I need to heal, actually? Well, I did. Okay. Back where our journey started. The wild thing is, I think we could still even go through the hole here and go back to the weird gray version of room 302 and still like go all the way back to the hospital world to get those silver bullets. We're not doing that. We don't need to do that. We're on easy. We're going to be fine. Okay. He said, knocking on wood. And Walter's body is gone. I was reflecting earlier how this ending is similar to the ending of Silent Hill 3 in a few different ways. One of them being that you have a person who was a regular human being, then they disappear down a hole and turn into something very different for the final boss battle. Walter's body is gone. Where could it be? I don't like my line delivery of that. Walter's body is gone. Where could it be? And then a line that I feel will resonate for a lot of us. In the depression. Wait a minute. This is no normal depression. Raise your hand if you've experienced a moment like this in your life. Wait a minute. This is no normal depression. When I stare into it, I feel like I could be sucked in. It's like it's connected to some other dimension. Or maybe it's like a hole that, once you enter, you can never leave. Will you go in? To save our friend? To save the world, potentially, from the descent of the Holy Mother? I suppose we'll have to. Henry doing the just transported through time in a Terminator movie pose. Or Pikachu and Mewtwo in a Mewtwo from the first Pokemon movie. Just curled up in a ball, levitating. Is there even anything to do in this area? It takes us to this weird area before the final boss. But I'm pretty sure there's really nothing to do here. We've got the strange, like, bodies on the wall. which we'll see in the next area. This is like a world between worlds almost. I wonder if it's meant to be like the womb or something. Silent Hill games love jumping into holes. And then there's this thing, which reminds me of the gyrosphere from Event Horizon.
Hey there, little Walter. Just a little longer now. Henry, you're it. The last of the 21 sacraments. The final sign. The receiver of wisdom.
Hold on, Eileen. Okay, hold on. Okay. First thing we gotta do... So the ending is decided by a couple different things. One of them being... come on. If you're able to save Eileen. So we placed the umbilical cord into this strange monstrosity, which we assume was spawned from Walter's corpse. And now we gotta stab it with all these spears. But that's not what I wanted to do, but okay. How do I... Okay, this is... Okay. Spear of the Holy Mother. Crimson Tome says that I have to stick 8 of these spears into Walter's body. Yes, we're doing that. I don't know if the order that I'm supposed to do them in is randomly selected or what. Depending on how hurt Eileen is, decides how quickly she will walk into the pool, which she was pretty damaged when I got here, so this is going pretty quickly. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Or not. We're not going to grab that one, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, come on, Eileen, please don't. No more come on, Eileen. Stay, Eileen, stay. How many is that? 4? This is 5. Come on. Where was the last one? Did I get all the ones over here? No. Oh, come on. Oh, damn it. I'm pretty sure I had to look this one up, how to beat this boss. When I... was that all of them? Is that all 8? No, there's one more. Oh, come on, Eileen, don't start going down the steps already. Okay, this should be the last spear, right? Okay. Now we should be able to kill Walter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on. Is that it? Whew. That fucking guts me. Every time. Another piece of music not on the soundtrack. The official soundtrack.
Eileen.
Thanks. Aww. Guess we'll have to find a new place to live, huh?
Got a nice little atmospheric version of Your Rain. And now we get Cradel of Forest playing over the credits. Is the music completely overpowering my voice right now. So I was going to do some commentary on the song, but if you can't hear me over it, then that's kind of pointless.
They're deep in the forest night. Children dance the waltz. They laugh, whispering hand in hand. Just like children like to do. Their eyes, what are they looking for? White dress flutters the beat. Their song starting to make some sense. Only if you're listening. Dance like butterflies. Shadows appear right before my eyes. Sound echo the absurd. Hard to explain something that I heard. Now, with the forest talking insects and birds, does the center soaring in peace breathe a life into the animal you hide? It's a great illusion one never knows. When you think you're really alone, feel the eyes of someone looking on you.
And that was Silent Hill 4. So there are a few things I'm going to want to talk about with the music there, but let's look at my end screen. Difficulty, easy. Playtime, 11 hours and 25 minutes. Because I sat around and talked about music and backtracked. And oh, I didn't find all of the memos? Continues, 1. Oh, maybe there was one time that I died and had to continue. Yeah, I think that was early on in the game. Saves, 39. Enemies defeated, 383. Ending, escape, rank, 5. I can never remember why there's like the big stars and then the little stars. 5 big stars, 4 little stars. Whatever. All right. And I guess this is a final save. A brand new fear, if I wanted to start a new game plus. All right. So I'm going to leave this on the title screen. But I'm going to switch back over to my piano overlay to talk about a few different things. Well, first, before we do that, that was Silent Hill 4. The ending is kind of... it's interesting because it does feel like it happens pretty quickly. Like The boss battle itself is... This game is a good example of where, like, you've got the emotional story and you've got the plot-driven stuff, and I think they do a decent job melding those things together. Like, it's still got an emotional heart to it because we're ending on these moments of Walter, like, crying out for his mother. But the boss battle itself is very, like, oh, you must place the umbilical cord in the creature, and then you can stab it with the 8 spears that represent these 8 virtues or something that we've been following along, and then you shoot him to death. Just shoot him to death after you essentially, like... It's like a classic thing of, oh, he has transcended, but you need to make him human again, and then you can kill him. I love the story of this game. It really is just the gameplay stuff that every so often is kind of like, okay, and we're doing this now. Why? I think for the most part, it holds up story-wise. Let me go back through some of the comments that I wasn't able to comment before. Cleo was saying, with that red area we were in before, I would go with Womb, yeah, and possibly one of those wheel angels for, assuming for the, like, gyrosphere thing. Yeah, that does kind of evoke in a very industrial interpretation of, like, the biblically accurate angel with, like, the wheels and the wings and stuff. Afix said it's hard not to feel bad for Walter. I think that is one of the things that this game is trying to do. Is like, it doesn't condone what Walter did, but it does ask you to think about him as a human being, and to think about, like, if this child hadn't been taken in by the order, by the cult, what would have happened to him? And even to the end, it was all for his mother, which again doesn't condone it, but it does put this spin on it that is more than just like, oh, he was trying to do something terribly evil and he was pure evil. It's like, no, they're like, this too is a human being. And as with all of the first 4 Silent Hill games, I think this one, like the other ones, is trying to get you to think about things more complexly, to not reduce Walter to just, like, Walter is evil, but there's a reason for it, and there's a reason that he got there. And again, it doesn't condone what he's done, but it's just asking you to think about these things more complexly. Cleo said, I think Cradle... one last thing on that. Like, particularly when it comes to, like, the way that the child Walter ends, like, he's knocking on the door to room 302, crying, like, asking his mom to open up and let him in, and then like that again, it's so, like, heart-wrenching in how non-violent it is. Like, we've talked a lot about, in this playthrough and in the Silent Hill 2 playthrough, I think, about the way that Silent Hill as a series handles violence. And when Child Walter dies or disappears or expires, whatever word you want to use for it, it's literally just like he steps away from the door and he gets this, like, far off look in his eyes, like he loses focus and just falls to the ground. And it's so unsettling and it's so heart-wrenching. Cleo said, regarding the ending, I think Cradle might play here if Eileen doesn't make it. I remember it kicking in some version. And yeah, the music was overpowering me. Apix said, Typo could have done this song. Yeah. And then again, regarding Cradle of Forest, Cleo said, I'm not built for this because I'm just sitting here like, a waltz is a specific thing. Children don't just do that as children do in the woods. What is happening? So let's talk more about that. I guess since we just heard it, let's talk about Cradle of Forest, and then I'll go back and hit Your Rain. Because we did also hear Your Rain, and if I I would have paused there before the credits started to play, but I didn't know that I'd be able to do that without just like skipping to the end of the credits or something. Well, yeah, let's talk about the endings. I'm starting to sound like Charlie Day in the Pepe Sylvia thing. Let's talk about the endings. Can we talk about the endings? So there aren't like huge differences between the different endings that are possible in this game. Like the two big factors are if Eileen survives and whether or not you have fully cleansed the apartment of all hauntings before the end of the game. When I first played this game, I actually got, like, I saved Eileen, and so I saw her in the hospital, but I guess I missed like a haunting or two towards the end of the game before the final boss battle. And so after like leaving with Eileen, it cuts back to the apartment and it's still got this kind of like otherworld vibe to it, or like this like the walls are almost look like moldy or something like that, to suggest like, oh, that you survived this and escaped. Henry and Eileen survived this and escaped, but there is still a presence in the apartment. It's still possessed. Then there are the endings where Eileen doesn't survive, and basically it just ends with Henry like walking out of the apartment the way we saw him and saying Eileen. And if Eileen doesn't survive and the apartment is still fully possessed, I don't know if you don't survive the boss battle at the end, I don't know if it like plays an ending for you, but I know that there is an ending where it shows Walter, adult Walter and child Walter, like going back to room 302 and finally getting to be with their mother. And I think Henry does not escape in that ending. Basically, yeah, everything goes wrong. Everything is bad forever. But Walter got to be reunited with his mother. Yay! Okay. So in that context, I think I actually want to talk about Your Reign first, since that was the first thing that we heard. And when I do the staying on theme videos for this, I'll be able to edit things so that it'll all be in the right place. So Your Reign, the version that we hear in the ending there is a again, like the version of Tender Sugar we heard, like a rearrangement of it. So that's a little bit more, it's got a very soothing quality to it. That's a word I could use for resting comfortably earlier. Soothing. Resting comfortably feels very soothing, like a lullaby. And this version of Your Reign that we hear in the hospital when Henry goes to visit Eileen has a very like, okay, resolved ending to it. And it's interesting, the lyrics that they chose to bring in from the vocal track, the I never wanted to bring you down, all that I need is some simple loving words. Like it fits the ending, even if the rest of the song doesn't. But yeah, speaking of those lyrics, let's see if I can get my overlay to do what I want again. Let's look up the lyrics for Your Reign. Okay, if I do this. Okay, and now we're doing lyric window, game capture. How do I reorder? Come on. I wish this made more sense to me. This. Okay, there we go. Now I just not need it in front of my webcam. And do this. And do this. And this. Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. do this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. For anyone new to the stream or for whom this was their first stream, first of all, thank you for joining me for the ending of Silent Hill 4. Second, what we're doing here, I have been doing this series for the past year or so now called Staying on Theme, where like last year I played through the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I did these digressions to talk about the music, and then I cut these digressions out into their own videos and released them on YouTube as a series called Staying on Theme. So if you're interested in deep dives on the music and lore of Silent Hill series, definitely check those out. My YouTube is just iDoherty451, the same as my username here. And I basically did all the music or all of the like major tracks from the Silent Hill 2 remake. And I've been doing the same thing with Silent Hill 4. I haven't split any of those videos out yet as their own videos, but the stream is essentially my principal photography for those videos, and then I edit them so that they aren't long and rambling, and stuff like what I'm saying right now is not present in them. But yeah, so for this game, we've had this added ability to dig into lyrics, because this game has lyrics and vocals in the songs. And Your Reign is one of the songs that I feel like I listen to most often from the soundtrack, because it's just a good rock song. There have been a lot of different feelings I've had about the song over the years. Like, the more I listened to it, the more I was like, okay, clearly, like, I can see the ways that this connects to Walter's story, and specifically like his relationship with his parents. And I think it's another one of those ones where I feel like the perspective of the song or the songwriter is supposed to be like, oh, the speaker is someone who is in love with someone, and they are relating. They're relating the fact that they don't know how to love this other person to the fact that like their parents never taught them how to do that. Kind of similar to some of the Silent Hill 3 songs, where it's like, oh, this is a kind of like another unrequited love song, but the details connect back to the story of the game in certain ways, in a tangential way. With this one, something that Cleo brought up to me a few weeks ago, I think it might have been in the context of Salome's stream, because Salome Gunnarsdottir, the voice actress for Maria in the Silent Hill 2 remake, also played through Silent Hill 2. And it might have been in that context that Cleo was talking to me about how, like, when Cleo started listening to the song, or someone was talking about how the verses seem to connect to like childhood Walter, and then the choruses could actually be adult Walter, which for whatever reason I had never thought about before. I had mostly just thought about them in the context of like, oh, the speaker is a different character than the characters in the game. Let's look at these lyrics. Dancing alone again, the rain falling. Only the scent of you remains to dance with me. Nobody showed me how to return the love you give to me. Mom never holds me. Dad loves a stranger more than me. And so already we're getting this strained relationship between the speaker and their parents, similar to Walter's, and also potentially similar to Angela's, as I've been bringing her up in the context of a few of the songs, like Room of Angel, and how there seem to be these parallel moments between her story and Walter's story, whether they were intentional or not. I feel like they might have been, they like it, particularly in the context of Room of Angel. I've talked about how I feel like it must have been intentional there. But if you're interested in that, check out the Room of Angel discussion. But yeah, so we get the setup of our speaker is in love with someone, and nobody showed me how to return the love you give to me because my parents never taught me how. I never wanted to ever bring you down. All that I need are some simple loving words. You touched my body once. It burns me still softly. Never forgets. Never again will be, I cry. Out of my head, and I don't know what I found. Over and over, I feel it break me down. And here's the chorus. On the sidewalk of the city are my screams just a whisper. Busy people going nowhere see me soak in the rain. No compassion, nothing matters. My resistance is waning, like a flower in the basement, waiting for a lonely death. And Cleo was talking to me, I think, about how, she's talking about it right in the chat now. I think my resistance is waning felt like a real I'm becoming a serial killer vibe to me. Resistance to a Joseph style kill voice, now that I've heard that. Yeah, so this chorus almost seems to be, could be interpreted as adult Walter walking through the world and seeing its sinful nature, or seeing the ways that people are hurt and oppressed, and or the way that he's been hurt, and this downward spiral as we literally walked down through those many stairs down into what he ends up becoming, this serial killer who has no qualms about killing children even to accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. Out of my head, and I don't know what I found. Over and over, I feel it break me down. There's also, like, before this final section with that pre-chorus and chorus, there is a guitar solo, which Akira Yamaoka is great with guitar solos. His Tender Sugar guitar solo, I didn't bring it up before, is so good. It's one of those ones where, like, it's not super technical, but it's all the right notes. The reverb on it makes it sound so huge and dramatic. And this one's interesting because it's actually, there's not too much like guitar flashiness in it at all. It's really just the Silent Hill theme, like the melody that gets played throughout the entire series, which, let me double check really quick what key this song is in. Your Rain. Is it E minor? I think it's in F minor. Yeah. Hold on. I'm just gonna play it for myself for a moment just to be sure. Oh, no, it is in F sharp minor. Okay. I thought it was an F sharp minor, and then I second guessed myself, and it is an F sharp minor. I don't know if that's the exact guitar riff. But yeah, so during the bridge of Your Rain in the rock version that you hear on the soundtrack, you get this the Silent Hill theme. Over this chord progression that's different from the original Silent Hill theme, where it's I'm not going to have enough room here. Those are the chords: F sharp minor, A, B major, and then C sharp major. 1, 3, 4, 5 for the Roman numeral loving people. And it's just a cool way for Akira Yamaoka to tie so many of the soundtracks together, bringing back that song, that melody and that theme. But yeah, Your Rain is one of my favorite songs to listen to and throw into playlists, because it's such a good rock song, and it's cool to be able to throw it in amongst other more famous rock songs. And I can tell you that being someone who has spent many years working in a city where it rains, there have been plenty of times where I've driven to work downtown and it's been a rainy day and I've just got this song playing in my head on the sidewalk of the city. See me soaked in the rain. I love the harmonies, the background vocals on the chorus in this song. Like Mary Elizabeth McGlynn on this soundtrack really goes for it with the vocals, to the point where on some of the songs her voice sounds kind of hoarse or strained, and not in a way that is unappealing, but does make me worry about like how her vocal cords were during the sessions for this. And that seems like a good place to move on to Cradle of Forest. So if you're watching the Your Rain video later, we're going to move on to that in the next video. But if you're watching on stream right now, we're just going to move on to that right here. Cradle of Forest, which on the original soundtrack and on a lot of the like streaming services, it's spelled EL rather than LE. I don't know if that was a typo in the original or if it was just a thing that, if that was on purpose. Either way, it's whatever. Okay, so this is the only song on this soundtrack that is sung by Joe Romersa. Yeah, I was going to point that out in the credits. Like, you saw Joe Romersa wrote the lyrics, and then Hiroyuki Owaku, it said lyrics original. I don't know if Hiroyuki Owaku wrote like the original Japanese lyrics and then Joe Romersa wrote his own set of lyrics, or if Joe Romersa was working from the original Japanese lyrics. I could have done more research. I didn't. Maybe we'll learn that someday. But in any case, I'm pretty sure this one, the lyrics, since he's singing, yeah, I get the vibe that he did write the lyrics wholesale. But let me zoom back out a little bit. And even that doesn't have the entire thing. So yeah, this one is very much like, it's not even that it's, I think it's supposed to be hearkening to this idea, like it's evoking imagery that would suggest like Wish House being in the middle of the forest, this orphanage in the middle of the forest and stuff. But other than that, like, it's just weird imagery. And like Cleo was saying in the chat, I'm not built for this because I'm just sitting here like, a waltz is a specific thing. Children don't just do that as children do in the woods. What is happening? Yeah, we've got the lyric. They're deep in the forest night. Children dance the waltz. They laugh, whispering hand in hand, just like children like to do. Okay. Their eyes, what are they looking for? White dress flutters the beat. Their song starting to make some sense, but only if you're listening. Dance, dance like butterflies. Shadows appear right before my eyes. Sound echo the absurd. That's not how you spell absurd. Hard to explain, something that I heard. Now, hear the forest talking, insects and birds. Does the scent of soil and beast breathe the life into the animal you hide? It's a great illusion, one never knows. When you think you're really alone, feel the eyes of someone looking in on you. So yeah, a lot of this is very poetic and seems to be evoking different things from the story without being like super on the nose. Okay, we are literally telling the narrative of the story like some of the later games had a tendency to do. Specifically, like what's jumping out at me now is when you think you're really alone, feel the eyes of someone looking in on you, which over the years, I think I always just took as like, oh, you're in the forest and someone's watching you. But that almost feels like the whole panopticon structure of the water prison. Cleo said, yes, Joe. Yes, it is hard to explain. Joe, why are there waltzes? Why are the children dancing a waltz? Again, see how the children play. Red moon colors the trees. Their feet, innocent rustling sounds. Oh, playful dreamlike fantasy. And then here in the second pre-chorus is where you hear Mary Elizabeth McGlynn just going for it in the background. But again, her voice sounds so like rough, and it sounds good. It's just, I'm like, I don't know if you should be doing that to your vocal cords, Mary. Like, it sounds like you're really putting them through it. And there's something about this song that, like, especially with her vocals in that moment, I remember the first time I heard it, seemed to evoke to me like so, almost like 60s style. Like, she almost was giving me like a why am I blanking? Oh my gosh, Janis Joplin. Holy crap. I would not have been able to forgive myself as a rock musician if I couldn't remember Janis Joplin's name. But yeah, it feels like that kind of rough 60s female rock vocalist vibe that she gives the song in this moment. And then the chorus repeats, and in the credits just now, we didn't actually get to hear the whole song. I don't think we heard the second verse, did we? And we also didn't get to hear the bridge where we get this beautiful string part. I want to say that it's Mellotron strings because of how like vintage they sound, similar to the strings that we got, I think, in Melancholy Requiem early in the game. But they have this melody that, one, is very beautiful, and also kind of, again, I don't know if Akira Yamaoka was going for something specific with this, or he was just like, oh, I can throw in this little riff from Silent Hill 2. But we have this string part that goes like, it's arranged in a weird way where I at times I hear it as, because is this also an E flat or is it E minor? Hold on, I gotta check my key again. I think it's E flat. Okay, so we are in E minor. So yeah, we get this string part in the bridge that goes, it's either or. I've seen covers play it both ways. I almost wonder if it is like a... For the sake of simplicity, and so that I can have the chords in the background, I'll do it as... And of course, I stumble over the part that I want to make stand out. Let me try that again and try and get that ending cleaner. Where have we heard that before? Cleo, say it with me. It's the Magdalene theme again. Hey, it's our old friend, the Magdalene theme that we heard in Theme of Laura, in Magdalene, in True, in No Moon, back in all those tracks back in Silent Hill 2. Cleo just said, no! OMG. This is one of the places that makes me question my interpretation of like that melody's usage, because there's the actual Magdalene theme, which is like, and then there's this riff that uses the same notes but is rhythmically different, where it's doing the, and in this context, like, I don't know if this song is supposed to connect to Mary at all, but it might have just been because Akira Yamaoka was already making melodic references to other pieces in the other songs. Like Room of Angels seems to evoke the melody of Promise. We just talked about how Your Rain has the Silent Hill 1 theme as a guitar solo. And what was the other? Oh, Waiting for You has, like, even though we didn't hear it in the game, has the Theme of Laura theme in it, and it's like literally lyrically referencing so much of Silent Hill 2. So he might have just been like, here's another little melodic reference I can throw in here. Yeah, I think that's probably the right interpretation, Cleo. I don't think it connects thematically, but it's a way to weave it into the series music. And he really seems to like that little. I really like that riff. Again, just something so simple and so evocative. Leo pointing me. Wait a second, I recognize that. So yeah, Cradle of Forest. The lyrics are very. I feel like they're almost supposed to be like just kind of trippy. And again, there's something like. There's something about this song that always gives me like 60s vibes between Mary Elizabeth's vocals, the like poeticism and trippiness of the lyrics. Like Aphex brought up typo. Like I don't really think this, but it's almost kind of, again, gives me like Janis Joplin or Jefferson Airplane vibes. Like this doesn't feel so far removed from something like White Rabbit. I don't know. That might just be me, though. But yeah, I think that's about everything I wanted to talk about musically. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about story-wise with this game. Because again, there are things about this game that are really rough gameplay-wise. But story-wise, I'm doing this thing again. There we go. Story-wise, I think there's so much valuable in this game. It's the game itself doesn't do the story justice, I think, in terms of the gameplay and stuff. That's a good question, Cleo. So Cleo said, how does Red Pyramid in the Silent Hill 2 article fit into this? And that is a great moment to bring up that thing that I said I was going to talk about at the beginning of the video, the victim files.